Hello and welcome to the Upland Forum, where we shine a light on the incredible people and businesses that make our community thrive. Today, we are spotlighting a sharp-minded cost reduction expert who's helping businesses save money and boost their bottom line, Kellie DuRose, strategic partner and consultant with Schooley Mitchell. And before I bring her on, make sure that you are sharing this episode with your business folks because this is huge. And I'll tell you more about it as we get started. But what do you say, you guys? I'm also going to share that from telecom and utilities to shipping and merchant services, Kellie helps companies of all sizes reduce their operational expenses without compromising quality of service. So let's explore how she's helping the Inland Empire business community and other communities keep more money in their pocket, and why cost reduction has never been so important as it is today. So with that said, let me welcome Kellie. How you doing, Kellie?
Hello. Good. So good to be here.
I'm glad that you joined us today. And I want to start off by just saying thank you for taking the time to join us. I know that when you and I met the very first time, what you talked to me about was just like, wow, there's really somebody that's dedicated to helping the business community in this way. So that was huge for me. I wanted to make sure you got a chance to connect with folks on here as well, too.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So let me start out right out of the gate with just a basic question I ask everybody. Can you tell us about your background and what led you to do what you do with Schooley Mitchell and to help businesses as well?
Of course. Yeah. So I started out in technology consulting, and my career kind of just veered from there, but always kind of had that consulting kind of edge to it. I got into more of the data space, vendor management, working for large corporations as well as startups. And then at the very end of my career, before I got into this, I worked for a startup heading up their operations, and did a lot of what I do today for them. And it gave me that kind of itch to do more of that, helping businesses save money, but also continuing to play in that consulting space. And I was given the opportunity to join Schooley Mitchell, and I took the opportunity. And I think that the thing that really drew me to it was the ability to help more businesses than just one at a time, and also to be able to help nonprofits as well, which is kind of a passion area of mine. So.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up because I want to ask you some questions about that a little later in the show. But talking about that, for those that are unfamiliar with what exactly you do for businesses or Schooley Mitchell for that matter, please share a little bit more insight as to that as well too.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we help businesses, mainly small to mid-sized businesses, save money on operational expenses. As part of that, you mentioned some of the areas that we focus in, telecommunications, merchant services, shipping. We do a wide variety. There's 14 different cost categories that we can save in. But basically, what we do is we do a no-cost analysis to see what we can save. And that includes looking at, hey, can we renegotiate rates with your existing vendor? Are you struggling with billing errors and being overcharged for things that you shouldn't be overcharged for? Are there certain things like unused licenses or different things that a business may be doing that they don't even realize they're paying for, that they don't need to be paying for. So we do all of that analysis for free. We provide a recommendation or multiple recommendations, maybe, hey, we can renegotiate rates with your existing vendor, or maybe there's a really great vendor in the space that, could provide you with better rates and better service. All of those things we present to our client, and then they get to make the decision. Hey, what do I want to do? Do I want to move forward with one of these recommendations? And if so, then we handle all of the implementation of that. And then what we do is we share in the savings as our way of compensation. But during that period of time, we also continue to handle all of the vendor management. So there are service interruptions. We're the ones that are on hold with the vendors waiting, to resolve that. We continue auditing invoices throughout the duration of time to make sure, hey, are you getting charged the right amounts? And then we're continuously looking for more savings. So, as businesses grow, maybe their volumes increase, maybe there's even better opportunities to save money. We do all of that throughout that term as well.
And if I heard you correctly, you said that the initial analysis is free, right?
It is. I know. That's the beauty of our model, and really was what attracted me to it. I'm not a, hey, spend money to save money kind of person. So it really made sense, to me, in that, hey, we can look at things and see what's possible. And then there's no cost to that, which, a great model and really very low risk for businesses.
Now you guys see why it's cool to connect with Kelly. I mean, the fact that she's using the F word, free, right, for some of this, it's always a huge incentive to really, it doesn't cost us anything to take a look at what a huge savings we can potentially have as well too. So, having said that, let me ask you, in the space that you're in, what types of businesses do you work with normally, and what problems have you been able to solve?
Yeah, so we can really work with any industry. Like I had mentioned before, I really have a passion for nonprofits. So I work personally a lot with nonprofits, just because I really think that I'd rather the money go towards the cause than to these vendors that they're, kind of, you're obligated to pay, to be able to run your business. But let's, put that money towards something better. But we can help anyone. So we've helped restaurants, we've helped construction companies, we've helped law firms, kind of you name it, run the gamut of any business. What we generally find is 10 employees or more is where, kind of we can make an impact. That, generally in that space is where, the business is probably spending a good amount, and there's a great opportunity for savings there.
That's awesome, folks. And I'm also going to put on here, just so you guys can see me, write down her information. Here is her website. Please make sure you guys write that down and connect with her as well. So if you have any questions, I'm sure Kelly would be more than happy to address them and guide you in the right direction. So now I'm curious though, right? What are the most common areas normally where you see businesses that are overspending without really realizing it?
I mean, the big area in our space is merchant services. The thing about that is that there's so many different rates and fees, and you look at a statement and it looks like it's in a foreign language, because there's just so many different line items, and the line items aren't very descriptive. And so, so I think that a lot of times businesses say to themselves, I don't know what any of this is. And it sounds right,
Right.
So that's an area. I think shipping's another one. I think that a lot of times, vendor salesmen are great. They're able to say, like, we're getting you the best rates, and they may or may not be being completely honest with you.
So tell us, because I always love stories, especially when it's all about helping the business owner, right? So can you think of a recent or maybe a past success story where you helped a client and helped them save significantly?
Yeah, so I would say, there's a lot of really great
Oh,
success
sure.
stories. But yeah, I mean, I'll tell a story of, in the nonprofit space, just because that's, an area of focus for me. But we were able to help a nonprofit that had a storefront, as well as they were doing other things of kind of like, there was a store and the proceeds from the store were going towards their causes. So with the storefront, we were able to help with merchant services and reduce their credit card and debit card processing fees. They did some sort of online ordering and shipping. So we were able to save there. It turns out that they were using multiple vendors. And so we were able to consolidate that and get them consolidated on one vendor with better pricing and better rates. And then we were also able to help them with their shipping supplies. And they were ordering a bunch of, supplies for the shipping. And we're just doing that, through Uline. And so we were able to help them with that and get them into better pricing there. And then additionally, we were able to help on some of the back office stuff, their internet and their telephones and their waste. So there was we were able to hit a bunch of categories. And so we were able to save them so much money that they were able to hire a few additional employees, which was really great for them because, with nonprofits, they're really, really strapped for resourcing. And so there's a lot of, of wearing lots of hats. And so people can get stretched pretty thin. They were able to hire 2 additional employees. And then they were also just able to put more resources into their causes and take more of the proceeds from the store to their cause. So, which was great.
That's pretty cool. Yeah. I love to get success stories like that too, especially the ones that are, really affect a different kind of type of business, right? Or genre for that matter. So it's great to hear that as well too. I'm going to shift here really quick too, but I want to make sure that folks get to know who you are and what you can absolutely do for them. So what separates you from any other business consultant or cost reduction firms? I know the answer to this, so I want to make sure folks know that as well too.
Yeah, I mean, there are others in the space. A lot of them, you have to pay upfront, and it's a kind of a project-based fee that, hey, you'll pay this, you'll get the return on it, is always kind of promised, but, there's always that possibility that you won't. So I think that's one of the things that really differentiates us. I think also, that there are a lot of players in the space that want to just do it project-based, that they want to say, here you go, and here's your savings. And then, 1 to 2 years later, there you are, and your rates have increased and they've crept up again. And there isn't somebody there to help you throughout that entire process and continue to kind of look out for you. And then I think that the other thing that we benefit from too is that we're really trying to not disrupt the business. So there are some players that are in the space that are like, you have to switch to another vendor in order to get those savings. So for us, our biggest priority is, hey, if we can get savings with the existing vendor and you're happy with your existing vendor, let's make that happen. I think that there's something to be said for, customer service. And I think there's, those things have got to be super important, and your business operations can't be disrupted just to save a few dollars. So I think that our, focus on, trying to work with existing vendors and trying to do better than what the business already has in the way of, customer support and things like that, I think is also a big differentiator for us. I would say for me personally too, I find myself really being able to be an advisor to my clients in more ways than just cost reduction in my categories that I can save them in. So, I have always, with clients saying, hey, you need help in this other area. Let me connect you with somebody that can do that. We kind of end up talking a lot about just business in general and not just about in the areas that I can help them with.
So with that great way of you talking about this, I'm going to put in my 2 cents now, because this is how I got to connect with you. So not only number one, didn't know that you existed, right? In the sense that, wow, there's actually somebody that can handle all this, right? This was like news to me. The other thing is also that I really appreciated about you was, you're right. There is a lot of different folks out there. A lot of folks in this industry that you're in come in with the preconceived notion of what they're going to have you do versus what your actual pain points are with that. With that said, it's also them bringing in their vendors if they want you to switch over. You got to use these guys because we all know how this rolls, right?
Yep.
But the fact that you're very transparent, and even in our conversations before we even talked about coming on the show, you basically work with what we have. The fact that you're doing a free analysis, because most of them will charge you to come out. I mean, let's be real, right? And also the fact that you also give them that opportunity. Hey, if you're doing great with this X, Y, and Z, stay with X, Y, and Z. There's no reason why you need to change to A, B, and C or whatever. And
Yep.
I think that's one of the key things that I appreciated about you in our conversation. And it's also why I'm very protective in our business community, who I talk to and who I can spotlight as well too, because folks, if you're listening, these are the folks that we spotlight here in the Upland Forum that are the real deal. They're not out there to make a quick buck and then see ya, right? It's not like that. And this is what I also want to make sure that we change that perception, right? In my world, in the IT world, there's a million IT companies, a million social media marketing companies, right? But it's who you connect with.
Yep.
And I'm always very transparent with that. It's like, this is what I can do for you. And if, I always say, if you can do it yourself, don't pay somebody like me to do it. Make sure that but you have to be consistent, just like in everything else. If people are looking for your service, they need to make sure that they're doing their due diligence also, so they don't say, hey, well, this didn't really work or whatever, when you're finding things. And what's cool about that is you're actually deep diving into ways that I didn't know I was paying for that, or I didn't know, I was getting charged for this. And these are just some crazy, shocking surprises sometimes, because you didn't realize you're spending thousands a year for something that you could have been saving. And like, to your success story, they were able to hire new employees to help out. So that's the beauty of having somebody you trust like you for the business community. And again, those watching, make sure you reach out to Kelly. I have her website here below. Make sure you write it down. Reach out to her. Tell her that you saw her on the Upland Forum. So that'd be great too. So she knows where all of these good connections are coming from. But I know we're getting closer to the end of the show. But talk to us really quickly about what advice would you give, like, small business owners right now struggling with these rising costs?
Yeah, I mean, I feel for them for sure. I mean, because there are so many things that, you see it even on a personal level, like, oh my gosh, grocery store bill, like, is way higher now than it used to be. So, that is just a reality. And I would just say that, like, I mean, what you can do it, get those people on your side that can help and support you, people like Carlos, and, just, and try, your best to say, what can I personally do? And then what should I just, kind of leave to the experts to do on my behalf, so I can focus on, the areas that I thrive in, maybe from a sales, business development, people management side of things. Like, as a business owner, find those areas where you thrive, and then find the support that you can count on to help you through the other stuff.
Excellent. And with that said, Kelly, are there any last parting words you'd like to share before we sign off?
I mean, I would just like to thank you for having me. It's been such a great experience. I'm so glad that we connected, and just like I just love everything that you do for the community of Upland, and for the Inland Empire, and I'm just so glad to be here.
All right. Well, thank you. So, folks, you've heard it. Make sure you connect with Kelly, please. Kelly, I want to just thank you again for joining us and for being just a resource to the business throughout the Inland Empire and other cities as well. In these times, finding savings without sacrificing quality is more valuable than ever. So, if you're a business owner, a decision maker, and you want to stop overpaying, please connect with Kelly. She's going to just take your business to levels that you haven't seen yet and save you money in the process, right? So this has been the Upland Forum, folks, where local business meets local spotlight. I am your host, Carlos. And remember that if you see something, folks, you can always say something. But until next time, keep supporting local businesses in the Upland. We all believe in. So thanks again.